So, you're ready to begin the conversation, you know when and where and while doing what, you're clear on what your concerns are. Now comes actually the hardest part, which is kicking off the conversation and gathering information from your child. This first ingredient we call the empathy ingredient, because empathy means to understand. So our goal as parents in this first ingredient should be to try to understand, to be a detective, to try to gather information about our child's concerns, their perspective, their point of view, maybe what's hard for them. We want to learn from them, and this is easier said than done. So a few tips. First of all, kick off the conversation with a neutral observation. You can say something like, hey, you know what, it seems like, or it looks as if, or I've noticed that, and then state something factual, okay? Don't take any leaps or make any judgments, just something factual, like, hey, I've noticed that you've been on your phone pretty late into the evening recently. And just expect, they may get on the defensive a little bit because they think, here we go again, another lecture, in which case you can jump right to what I call reassurance. Reassure them that actually you're dedicated to trying to understand their perspective here. Say something like, oh, hold on, you're not in trouble. That's not what this is about. I'm just trying to understand. I really want to understand. And I bet there's a good reason that you're on your phone late at night, and I want to understand. Can you fill me in? And then you want to go into listening mode. And I've studied this long and hard, and I'll tell you something interesting, that when we adults try to empathize with our kids, if we stick to 4 things and 4 things only, it tends to go pretty well. If we depart from those 4 things, it goes off the rails quick. What are those 4 things? Questions, like any good detective, educated guesses if need be, reflecting what our kid is saying to us back to them, not verbatim, because that's annoying to kids, but in our own words to show, are we really getting what they're saying? The 4th tool is reassurance, reassuring them that this is really a collaborative discussion where you're trying to understand where they're coming from. So basically, you're just going to toggle back and forth between asking questions, taking guesses if you need to, reflecting back to them anything you've heard from them, and if need be, reassuring them so the conversation keeps rolling. How do you know you get to the end of this first step, this empathize step? You feel like, I really understand where they're coming from. I get their concern, I get their perspective or their point of view, and they're still with me. They're still calm in this conversation. And the next step is where we're going to ask them to listen to us. And I'll tell you what, if we want them to listen to us, the first step is listening to them. If you've done a good job understanding your kid's concern, they're going to be much more likely to listen to your concern.